Tonight, you don't have to carry everything alone. I know your mind has been running, moving from one thought to another, replaying moments, planning ahead, trying to keep everything together. And even when you try to slow down, it keeps going because your nervous system hasn't had the chance to fully reset. You've been doing a lot. Showing up, handling things, staying steady in moments where you may have simply wanted to rest. And sometimes it feels like there is no real off switch, like your body is still alert, even though the day is already over. But right now, in this moment, there is nothing you need to fix. There is nowhere you need to rush to. And nothing is being asked from you here. Just stay here with me. This is your Night Rampage, a space where instead of pushing, you begin to release, where instead of overthinking, you begin to soften. And gently, without force and without effort, we are going to use simple NLP techniques to guide your mind and your body back into a state of safety, back into calm, back into balance. You don't have to understand how this works. You simply allow the shift to begin. Take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, let your shoulders drop just a little. That's it. You are already beginning, and for the next few minutes, you are not doing this alone. I am right here with you. And together, we are going to reset your system, one gentle step at a time. As you stay here with me, you may begin to notice that your body has been holding more than it needed to, as if it stayed in that alert, responsive state long after the day required it. And without needing to analyze it, you can start to recognize that this tension is not something you have to carry forward, because your system is allowed to update and release what is no longer necessary. There is a part of you that already knows how to come back into balance. And as you listen, that part can begin to come forward, gently guiding the rest of your system into a slower, more supported rhythm. And you might begin to feel a subtle shift, almost like your body is receiving a signal that it is safe to let go of that constant readiness, that constant scanning, that constant holding. Because right now, nothing is being asked from you, and your mind does not need to stay in that loop of solving, predicting, or preparing for what comes next. You can begin to allow those patterns to loosen, not by force, but by simply recognizing that they are no longer needed in this moment. And as this awareness grows, your nervous system can begin to recalibrate, moving away from tension and into a state that feels more open, more steady, more natural to you. You may even notice that your thoughts begin to slow down on their own, not because you stopped them, but because your system is no longer fueling them in the same way. And this is where the shift begins, where your body and your mind start working together again, instead of staying caught in that cycle of pressure and response. So just stay with this feeling, allowing it to deepen, allowing your system to remember what it feels like to be supported, to be steady, and to begin resetting itself from within. As you stay here, you may begin to notice how thoughts have been moving through your mind, sometimes quickly, sometimes repeating, as if they were trying to keep something under control or make sure nothing is missed. And without needing to push them away, you can start to recognize that not every thought requires your attention, and not every thought needs to be followed all the way to the end, because many of these patterns have simply been running automatically, repeating familiar loops that once felt important, but do not need to stay active right now. And as you begin to see that, even gently, something starts to change. Because the moment you stop engaging in the same way, those loops begin to lose their intensity. You may notice that a thought appears, and instead of pulling you in, it simply passes through, like it no longer needs to hold your focus in the same way. And this is not something you are forcing. It is something that happens naturally when your system begins to feel safe enough to let go of constant mental activity. Because overthinking is often just your mind trying to protect you, trying to prepare, trying to solve everything ahead of time. And right now, you can allow your mind to understand that it does not need to do that anymore, at least not in this moment. There is nothing urgent here, nothing that needs to be figured out right now. And as that realization settles in, your thoughts can begin to slow, not because you stopped them, but because they are no longer being fueled in the same way. You may begin to feel more space between them, more quiet in between, as if your mind is remembering how to rest instead of constantly working. And in that space, your system begins to reset, gently moving away from pressure and into a state that feels clearer, calmer, and more supportive. So just stay here, allowing that space to grow, allowing your mind to soften, and letting your system continue this shift in its own natural way. As this calm begins to settle more deeply into your system, you may start to notice that this feeling is not something new, but something that has always been available to you, simply waiting beneath the surface. And as you reconnect with it, even in this quiet way, your body can begin to recognize this state as familiar, as natural, as something it already knows how to return to. Because you are not someone who is meant to stay in constant tension or in continuous overthinking or in that cycle of always needing to be alert. There is another rhythm within you, one that is steady, supported, and far more sustainable. And as you listen, that rhythm can begin to come forward more clearly. And you may begin to feel that you are no longer inside the same pressure you were carrying earlier, as if something has already started to shift, even if only slightly. Because your system is learning in this moment that it is safe to release what it no longer needs and to return to a state that feels more open, more grounded, more at ease. And the more you allow this, without forcing it, without questioning it, the more your mind and body begin to align in this calmer, more balanced way. You may even begin to sense a quiet confidence forming, not from effort, but from the feeling that you are no longer being pulled in every direction at once. And from this place, everything begins to feel more manageable, more spacious, and more within your control, not because you are trying harder, but because you are no longer carrying unnecessary tension. This is your system, remembering how to support you, how to regulate, how to return to balance without needing to push or struggle. And as this continues, you can begin to trust this feeling, trust this shift, and allow it to deepen in its own natural way. And as you remain here for a few more moments, you may begin to notice how your body feels now compared to when you first arrived, as if something has softened, something has opened, something has gently reset within you. And you don't need to hold on to this feeling because your system now remembers the way back. It remembers how to return to this calm, this steadiness, this sense of inner support. And even after this moment ends, this shift can continue to unfold quietly in the background as your mind and body keep integrating this new, more balanced rhythm. You may also notice the gentle music surrounding you, supporting this experience and allowing your system to go even deeper into relaxation as it carries soft, Solfeggio frequencies designed to promote harmony, balance, and emotional ease. And whenever you feel the need to return to this space, to reset, to release, or simply to reconnect with yourself, there are more Night Rampages here for emotional release and alignment, as well as unwind before bed sessions designed to guide you into deeper rest and peaceful sleep. Each experience is here to support you in a different way, whether you are letting go of the day, calming your mind, or gently realigning with a more peaceful state within. So for now, just allow yourself to rest in this feeling for a few more breaths, knowing that you have given your system exactly what it needed, and that you can return to this sense of calm, this sense of balance, whenever you choose.